Another use for asynchronous or off-screen sound is for creating humor, where the sound itself becomes a punchline or moment of levity. Let's have a look at an example found in a classic holiday film, A Christmas Story. It's Christmas Eve, and the parents are trying to convince the kids to get to bed before Santa shows up.
Oh, goodness, look at the time. I hope Santa hasn't had to pass up this house just because some boys weren't in bed when he came by.
Yeah, I thought I heard Santa's sleigh bells a little while ago going up the other side of the street.
All right, you two, upstairs.
Come on. Come on the double. Hip, hip, hey. Okay, let's get him.
The camera tracks the kids to the first landing of the stairs, where we hear their stomping footsteps and see them tackling each other, rushing to get up to bed. The sound-image connection is established here, so that when the camera cuts back to the parents' reactions as they listen to the commotion being caused by the kids, we no longer need to actually see the children to understand what's going on. At this point, an editor is completely free to add as much or as little off-screen banging, stomping, slamming, and crashing as they want.
Okay, let's get him.
All you need to do is adjust the timing of the reaction shot to support the sound. Another example of humor being created with off-screen sound is in this scene from the film Forrest Gump. Lieutenant Dan's wheelchair is sliding down an icy sidewalk and disappears screen right. We cut to a reaction shot of Forrest while we hear the crash of the wheelchair into what sounds like garbage cans and bottles.
Lieutenant Dan!
Along with a yell from Lieutenant Dan just to ice the cake.
Lieutenant Dan!
This use of off-screen sound works great for two reasons. First, it saves money in a production because there's no need to film a stunt performer crashing into the garbage cans. This is where it's great to have an editor, or someone who can think like one, present on the production in the early stages. Second, this particular way of playing out this gag is arguably funnier than if the filmmaker had chosen to show the crash and use synchronous sound. Staying on Forrest's startled reaction is great, and no one really wants to see someone in a wheelchair get hurt. Not really great from a comedy standpoint. So far, we've looked at how you can use asynchronous sound to motivate drama and create humor. Well, you can also use asynchronous sound to simulate the supernatural. A great example of this is in the film Oculus. In this scene, we see the father who appears to be hearing something. Turns out, it's the haunted mirror in his office. Happens all the time, right? Have a look.
Okay. Speak then.
Director and editor Mike Flanagan used a surreal, whispery piece of asynchronous sound to simulate the voices he was hearing. It's present throughout other scenes in the movie to indicate the presence of this supernatural being, such as here, and here. As an editor, you've got the power to take a relatively normal moment and completely fabricate the presence of something that did not originally exist on the set. Not only will this save quite a bit of money in the budget, but often a menacing or creepy sound is actually far scarier than the actual sight of what's making it.
Who's there?
Many times, it's the fear of the unknown doing most of the work. Alright, so let's quickly recap what we learned in this lesson. We explored the use of sound to create a bit of humor and levity, and we looked at how asynchronous sound can be used to simulate the supernatural or any other creature or character that might not be visible to the viewer. Coming up in the next lesson, we're going to look at an extremely powerful use of off-screen sound, how an editor might reveal meaningful and important plot developments using only a few tiny pieces of audio. Alright, I'll see you in a bit.